Well, hello and welcome back to another video. This video we're going to work on getting this shop ready to use. And today we're going to take it from looking like this to this. Last time we cleaned it up, but that's not enough because as you can kind of tell from some of the footage, it's dark in there. So that means we need light, but beyond that, we also need power to run tools off of. So we need to get power to the shop somehow. The 200 amp breaker box right here. Easiest way for me to get power here in a very non-shady way is to dig a 35-foot trench from the breaker box to the corner of this shop, run some conduit there, run some wires through it, and then I'm going to have power to the shop. Before we start digging that way towards the shop, I'm going to dig this way because if you look here, there's a piece of conduit that comes down out of this box. There's about 20 feet of conduit that goes down, curves, and then shoots out that direction that way. So I'm going to try to dig that up, pull that out because I'm just going to dig it up, rotate it, aim it that way towards the shop. This thing is way deeper than code. Yes! Yes! And leaking a bunch of water. Wow! So I thought that would be easier because I thought they would have buried it at 18 inches like is required, but they legit got 4 feet deep about at the end of it. If you think I look cold, you'd be right. A couple days ago I finished digging that trench. I picked up a little bit more conduit, but it wasn't enough, so I'm gonna have to get another piece to get all the way to the shack. But before I do that, we're gonna get a trench dug, see how hard it is, how many big rocks, and how far I can get. Here's another dig labs. And just like that, we're glued up here. These were already glued up because that's what I salvaged from the ground. Glued there, glued into this junction box. I think we should pull our wires first so that we can fill in the trench and then we'll move on to the interior stuff. Hello, are you my little helper? Are you helping me or are you eating grass? She is not to be bothered while she's eating grass. Okay, that was much harder than it should have been. Finally gone through. Now we'll get these ones into the box with plenty of length and then we'll pull it the rest of the way through. I went from below and drilled the right hole for my conduit. It comes out at a slight angle, but that's because that curved piece is angled, so the whole thing angles forward a little bit. So that's gonna determine how I mount my box. I'm gonna go outside and try to push those wires through. You watch and see if they come out. Yes! Success! We've got waterproofed conduit underground all the way into the shack. That means I can go seal up the junction box, put the dirt back in the trench, and move on to the indoor stuff. I hate to say it, but yesterday was somewhat of a wash as far as content creation combined with productivity. The nature of what I was working on was such that filming it and time-lapsing it just didn't work. So I'm just gonna update you and catch you up to speed right now. After getting all the parts that I did need and running a couple other errands, I was able to finish the conduit all the way up to the electrical box inside. I got my ground rod installed outside, so everything should be ship-shape to the sub panel in the shack. From there, I put up outlet boxes and a switch box, and then I harvested all the wire that I could from the shack that was already in there. I inspected it, took out all the bad or damaged bits, and started reusing that wire to run to my outlet boxes. Last night it did get too dark before I was able to get all of my outlets wired and my switch wired, so I have to come back today and we're gonna finish wiring the outlets, finish wiring the switches, and hopefully get my lights hung. All right, hear me out. I made a shop chandelier and I think it's gonna work great, but I've come up with some jigs to help me hang it by myself because I'm by myself. Just watch. We're gonna see how this goes. Okay, I think we just might have light. Ta-da! Woo! Man, does this pump a guy up or what? So I worked real hard for an hour and I got probably about 2/3 of the way done, hoping I have enough gravel to kind of get the rest of this. I've rented a compactor tomorrow, so that I'll go pick up first thing in the morning and then bring that in for a couple of hours and get this really. But once that's compacted, man, this floor is gonna be primo. How about that? Whew. In a couple of hours, got our floor graveled. Tomorrow with the compactor, this is gonna be extra nice.
Hey, jump.
What do you think?
Looks good.
What do you think, Echo?
She stands out so much.
Wow, I am absolutely buzzing about this. There's no gravel in the meth lab, but it's all smooth and feathered out right now. Yeah, there's slight low spots, slight high spots. Hopefully that's gonna kind of pound itself out when I get the compactor. No, I'm pumped that this is looking so tidy and so clean within a week of starting this whole project. Isn't that crazy? I started this less than a week ago with the demo. Got a compactor. The logistics of pulling that off were less than favorable. I've only rented that for 4 hours and I've used the first half hour to drive here and I need to use the last half hour to drive back. And I have no idea how long this is gonna take. So enough jibber jabber, let's get at it. And there you go. I did several passes. For now, I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm done early. I might as well take that back to town, switch cars back with Ev, return my U-Haul, and then get back up here and then move on to the next task. So here we are down at the bottom end of the property. My sister Emily has come to visit me, and since there's nothing but chorin to do here, we're gonna do some chorin. Short story, this structure was used as a gangplank for RC cars. End of story. And we're gonna start taking some material off of it because all of these planks we're gonna use to kind of tidy up the workshop end of the shack. And it's gonna make it look a lot better. So we're gonna pry them all off and take them up and put them in. Well, that made light work. Now we got 60 pieces of aged shiplap to put up in the barn, but no chair for Em to sit, so you'll ride on top with her.
I think we lost some logs. This is not very safe. Don't try this at home. Back at the shop, time to unload all of our sticks.
Look at all this material. We're gonna clean that up, get the nails out of it, and that is gonna become the visual feature of the whole workspace in here once we structurally kind of firm it up a bit. Emily was here. We had a good time. She got right into choring with me, which was great. And we actually built this really cool looking kind of rustic workbench over here. We used maybe a third of the salvage strips of shiplap and just put it up on the wall and on the workbench surface and on the front to trim it out. Even slapped one up over here on the end. We got some outlets wired and a switch box in so that we can put up a light on the inside. My thought right now is that when I go here, I'll flick on this switch and then any storage in the meth lab will have a light on in there. And if I have some extra LED strip, I'll put a little piece in here so we have a little bing, a little cool light on the thing. You know, just using materials at hand is what we're trying to do. We're gonna put an outlet in this wall, and then we're gonna work on the finished material here on this wall. All right, I am absolutely buzzing about this setup in here. No, obviously not. This is not the dream workshop, okay? This is the sketchy shack with a former meth lab in it. You'll be asking, why are you spending so much time on this? Why are you putting so much effort into this garbage space? I'm a firm believer that if you care for the space that you work in and spend your time in, you'll be more excited and more organized going towards the activities and the goals that you have. If you don't believe me, try it. Invest some time in your space. So that's what I'm doing here. I gotta make a space that looks and feels like my workspace, and I can be excited about going to work. We got our pegboard up, we got our outlets wired, we got our lights wired, we've got the whole little tool storage trimmed out, and it's looking mwah. We even put a little bit of the scrap pieces of shiplap above the pegboard just to frame everything in a little bit. We're ready to organize some tools. It's gonna be great. And we're gonna feel really good about having an organized space. Would you look at that? Try to group things by genre. You know, that's kind of construction stuff. This is smaller hand tools and electricals over there. All my power tool stuff is gonna be on this wall next to where I'm gonna store my power tools. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching the transformation of this space. I know this is not drop dead gorgeous, but that's gonna come way down the line in the future. For now, this is a night and day difference from what this space used to look like and used to feel like. This is something I can use. This is something I'm excited about being in because I've created a space for myself. There's going to be a lot more tools added to this setup, both on the powered side and on the hand tool side, as we get into what I'm really up to here on this property. Speaking of that, the next time you see anything come from this channel on YouTube is going to be the reveal and announcement of the next bus project. So don't forget to turn on notifications and subscribe to the channel so you can see what project we're taking on next here in the BB bus. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time when we show you the bus that's happening this summer. Bye.